Tour Stories / The Check-In is made possible by our friends over at Isotope. You know Isotope, and you know they are the best in audio repair, mixing, mastering, and general audio magic, like removing the heater sound that's going on right now. Thank you, Spectral Denoise. Head over to isotope.com for frequent deals on plugins for audio restoration, mixing, mastering, and more. That's izotope.com. Tour Stories is supported by the great DistroKid. As you know, DistroKid connects direct to TikTok with exclusive access to your TikTok artist account. What's new at DistroKid? You can do unlimited instant mastering. You can distribute your music videos, and the newest, greatest thing, Bandzoogle, where you can build a website and a store in minutes. And of course, they have an app, which is a delight to post new songs and get paid. Tour Story listeners get 30% off at distrokid.com/VIP/Tour Stories. DistroKid. Get your music out there. I'd like to welcome our newest sponsor, Schecter Guitars. Yes, I play drums, but in my band, I am the lead guitarist and I play Schecter. Schecter makes a wide variety of guitars in various styles, all high quality built with the best materials and pickups, beautiful fretboards, and always a comfortable feel. The bonus with these high quality instruments is that they are priced right. I just ordered 2 guitars. The one I can tell you about is the Robert Smith Ultra Cure in Black Pearl. Also consider heading over to the Schecter Custom Shop and find yourself a premium USA built instrument and have it shipped straight to your door. Head over to schecterguitars.com. You'll be there for a while, trust me. Hey there, surprise! This is not a new episode of Tour Stories. This is an episode of Punk This Week, the newest member to the Ruinous Media Network. I love this podcast. Nina and Evan share the newest in punk music on a weekly basis, and it's invigorating. You will also likely learn a little bit about snacks and snacking. Evan and Nina are snack experts, snackperts. To hear the show, head over to seesaw.fun. That's SEE-SAW.fun. While you're there, check out everything Evan and Nina, radio, Bandcamp, merch, writings, etc. Check it all out at seesaw.fun or wherever you get your podcasts. Please enjoy, subscribe, and welcome Evan and Nina. Punk This Week.
Hello, welcome to Punk This Week. I'm Evan.
And I'm Nina.
Oh, Nina, you know, this podcast, we've been doing it for over, 68 episodes. Episode 68, right?
Mm-hmm. 68, including, we took a few weeks off. So in terms of calendar year marking, it's been a while. It's been like almost a year and a half.
Yeah, I think it's been like a year and a half. And, you know, it's interesting because while things may seem so deeply similar to the listener, we got like a new, like, I don't know how to put it. We're part of the Ruinous family. We're now on a podcast network.
Yeah, we've joined a network. We're networking.
We're networking.
We love to network, and now we're networking officially. Capital N network.
No, I genuinely am so surprised because we started Punk This Week purely independently, just as like a, hey, let's see if we can do this. Like literally one day, we put out that pilot episode later on, and then like. I think literally a week later I was like, that was really fun. Let's do it again. Let's just do it. And I didn't really give much attention to like shopping it around or anything like that, or like sending it to too many podcast network type people. So it was really flattering to be introduced to Joe and Chris at Ruinous and have them be really interested in the podcast. So like I'm really, really excited to be part of that network. If you're not familiar with Ruinous, the podcast that I knew the best from them was Hyphenate, the Randy Randall podcast. Randy from No Age. He also did our podcast, Seesaw Jukebox. And Randy's who introduced us to Chris and Joe. And but they have so many great podcasts on Ruinous, a lot of music podcasts. They've worked with Light in the Attic and David Cross, and they worked with 31G. They've done a lot of really,
it feels
really
like
cool
spiritually it makes a lot of sense, and also I would say like ethically and morally, I think we have felt very welcomed and aligned as far as what we do. And on a podcast literally called Punk This Week, it feels in line with that, which was the big thing for Evan and I that I think feels really good. And yeah, I guess how do we, what will this be like for listeners? Evan and I are still going to talk about everything we normally talk about, including all of the number one reason people come to this podcast, which is our rambling snack talk and other adventures.
And look, we're getting there. Like, don't worry, this won't be all about us joining a network. I think in the short term, it'll be nothing. I think it's literally just like we're on a network, and also the podcast exists. In the long term, it might mean that we do ad reads. Ruinous works with like a lot of different companies and sources advertisements, and we'll play that when we get there. Like it'll be easy enough. But I mean, they seem to work with a lot of not gross like music company type advertisers. But yeah, thank God for these guys at Ruinous, because Nina and I got on like a few calls with them and just peppered them, because we're journalists, so we like peppered them with all these questions like, what does this mean? What if we did this? In this case, in this scenario, what would happen? And they were just like, all of that seems like a non-issue to us. And they were like really sweet, and we're
yeah, I felt your famously aggressive co-host really going at it.
Yeah, we really
were
shit out of those guys. we really made them work for putting our podcast on their network. But they were so like, honestly, every answer that they had was like the perfect answer.
Yeah, they
like,
were very sweet.
We were like, what do we have to sign? Like, what is this? Are we gonna sign away our lives? And they were like, if you want to leave at any point, you could just leave. And it's like, oh, okay. Sorry for grilling you super, super hard about this. But no, I'm genuinely, I'm so honored, like crazy flattered that they like our podcast at all. So yeah, I mean, I was like getting like messages from them being like, hey, great episode this week. I love that you talked about this. It's like, man, you guys are like listening to the podcast. You're like really into what we said. Like, they're just like real people, like who happen to have a podcast network. So, just shout out Ruinous. Go check out Ruinous. Nina, I'm in Austin, Texas.
You are.
I am. Is
it hot there right now, or is it like classic Austin winter where people are wearing coats and scarves, but it's 45 degrees?
It is literally that. Yeah. I saw somebody. Oh my God! Here's the funniest thing. It was like 50 degrees outside, and somebody put their dog, like their big fluffy dog, in a sweater, and Morgan and I were laughing at their asses like, oh my God, like this is the most overkill thing I've ever seen. But
I never feel like pompous or like judgmental until these scenarios, this exact thing, when I'm like, be for real. I mean, absolutely, like, I don't know, maybe your dog wants that. Maybe it just, who doesn't want to walk around feeling like they're cozy in a sweater or wrapped in a blanket? But
look,
yeah, when people are like afraid to go out or doing a big bundle, especially in Texas, where I'm like, your culture is leaving your heavily, what's the word? Central air home directly into your car to drive somewhere that will also be blasting either heat or AC. I'm like, you're fine.
Yeah, 100%. And also, like, I don't know. To me, we walked outside, like the coldest it's been here is like 30 in the mornings or something like that. Mm-hmm. And like even then it's like, I mean, when we fly back, it'll be like the low is -9 or something like that. Yes. So it's like we're pretty stoked about it. So I don't know. It's been nice. We've been spending a lot of time outside. I want to do one thing that I don't do a lot on this podcast, which is that I'm going to call out a member of my family for their crimes in the past, which is that my brother has lived in Austin, Texas for 16 years, and I've been visiting him for like 15 of those or something like that. Like, I think the first time I visited, he'd been living here for a few months. And this whole time I've been, vegetarian or vegan, and it took me 16 years of coming to Austin, like 15, 16 years, to try the popcorn tofu at the Wheatsville Co-op, and I'm so mad. I had it, and it was so good, and I was like, I could have been eating this for 15 years. I was so...
Has he had it before?
Yes. He was like, that's...
Okay, this is unacceptable. Then if he's eaten it himself and never told you about it.
Yeah, I was like, hey, what I really... Because I heard about... Shout out Ben Cox, who's on the Seesaw Discord, who was talking about, like, yeah, my typical, going out day in Austin, if I'm in town, is I go to End of an Ear, incredible record store, and then I iconic record store. And then I go to Wheatsville and get a popcorn tofu po' boy. And he said that on the Discord. And I was like, back up, like record scratch. What are you talking about? I was like, how have I not tried this? And so this time I was like, hey, if we can, while we're like in this part of town, I want to go to End of an Ear and then I want to go to Wheatsville. And Justin's like, oh, I want to go to Wheatsville. It's like, I want to try the popcorn tofu. And he was like, oh my God, that's my favorite. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's your favorite.
Wait, how long was he like, I'm always getting it? It's almost in such constant rotation, it doesn't feel worth mentioning.
Listen, he was behind the wheel, so I didn't confront him aggressively. I had it. He was
behind the wheel, so
I didn't want him to be like, I didn't want him to be like, I'm turning this car around. We're not going to Wheatsville if you're going to treat me like this. And my brother's not like that. He would have been fine. He would have taken this. But honestly,
you've never tried it, and I'm never letting you.
No, honestly, exactly. It's like, no, that's for me. I'm like, he's got a secret freezer in his garage full of Wheatsville popcorn tofu. No, like we got it yesterday. Like it was just like cold from like the takeout, like whatever deli counter where like the little fridge that they have in like most grocery stores of like, oh yeah, we made this and that, and at this one they have popcorn tofu, so I brought it home.
Is popcorn tofu, does that mean it's the shape it takes, like it's supposed to be popcorn chicken?
Yeah, think about like popcorn chicken and just like it's tofu, and it's like that, how, okay, this is just my guess, but it's this thing that I've seen a lot on the internet where I've never done it, people freeze their tofu to like extract as much liquid out of it as possible. And so it gets really dense.
Interesting.
And then it gets like flaky. It's like it almost gets to be like an actual chicken texture. That's what it tastes like to me, is like it's perfectly seasoned breading.
Innovations within the tofu world. That's
innovation in the tofu world is a little beyond me, but I tried it and I was like, I liked it so much, and Morgan and I looked at each other, and we were both like, I can't believe we have been here that so many times. This is our first time trying this iconic Texas dish, and we were so mad. And we were so we were loving it and also really mad. We were we've been getting Taco Deli while we're here. We were like dipping our like popcorn tofu in like their like medium salsa from Taco Deli.
Sounds
it was like
great.
Incredible. So like we were snacking like true monarchs, and then in the meantime just like shaking our heads like, what the hell? How is?
I thought you meant snacking like when a dog takes a bite of something and like shakes their head with the toy.
Yeah, exactly. We're like
really tearing into it.
No, that's true too. We were doing that. And then my parents were like, "Are you guys okay over there?" And they were freaking out. But no, it genuinely, like, I'm so happy I finally had it. I don't know if I'll ever be able to come back without having it. It's like it's that good. Yeah, I don't know. You went to a big show last night, right?
I did. I went to, I think it was called Several States, the show that I thought Numero organized, but they did not. They were just promoting it. Apparently the guys in Ethel Meserve organized it, but they played, I think their first show, like I think Ethel Meserve's last show when they played was in Chicago, and then this was their first one back. I was surprised because I thought that they had been playing last year, but I guess I was wrong. It was so good though. It was a really big bill at a theater I had not been to, which was Romova Theater, but it kind of got renovated and it had 2 rooms, so there's like a 2-stage kind of setup. And it was great. I saw a lot of bands for the first time in my life that I like, and it was very fun and cool to see them, including Hey Mercedes and Rainer Maria, Ethel Meserve, of course, Newfound Interest in Connecticut, who were so good live that I couldn't see them because I was not tall enough, and that room was like a flat, a stage just like probably 4 inches off the ground. But they sounded so good that I was like, if I didn't know who you were, I would think that this is like a modern current band of kids in their 20s. Really incredible. I cannot wait to see them again if I am given the opportunity to do so. I saw Pogo, Sleepy Time Trio, just like so many people. It was a great time. I
my
love
God.
music. I love emo. I was just really vibing out of the show, being like, I'm glad I came to, this theater for the first time by. Did you ever go? I don't think it was open when you lived in Chicago. It's on the south side right by
I
the
was
White
literally,
Sox.
when you said Ramova Theater, I was like, okay, I've got to look up where this is. But yeah, I'm seeing now it's like, so it's like a little southwest maybe, just like a tiny bit west. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
It's
looks
in
like,
Bridgeport.
it looks beautiful. No, I've never, I don't think
It was
I ever
nice.
saw
Kind of a
anything
weird
there.
design. It's like a big room. I think it's 1,500. And the main room is kind of like the Aragon in that it has that like faux villa setup of the perimeter of the room where it's makes it look like you're surrounded by buildings, but you're not. And then the small room was like what makes sense for emo bands of just like a kind of low ceiling, unremarkable, people standing on chairs to watch the show kind of vibe.
I mean,
It was great.
It sounds fantastic.
And while I was there was someone selling posters. Well, not someone. The person who used to book Fireside Bowl was there selling old original posters from shows there. And he also brought a box of 7-inches. And one of them, as I was flipping through, I was like, well, because that exact same day, Evan sent me a photo of a 7-inch he found. And I'm like shaking my head. And then hours later, I'm flipping through some 7-inches. I'm like, oh my God. We both found same band, different 7-inch. Incredible.
Let's say the name of the band on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Fuckface.
You hear the disappointment in my voice. And then I had to ask him. I felt so, I don't want to be the person who like takes a picture of a record and doesn't buy it. So like, is it okay if I take a photo of this and don't want to look like someone who's like, I don't know, looking on Discogs or whatever. And he's like, oh, yeah, why are you taking the photo? And I had to be like, I'm not getting into this whole saga. But it's like, oh, my friend was at a record store today and found a Fuckface 7-inch. I just feel like it's really funny to, on the same day, find one here. He's
Across
in Texas.
the country. Yeah.
And he just went, okay. Sounded very upset. Whereas like the full story's better, but he doesn't need to know.
Yeah, it's like, well, so do you have a few minutes? I have a podcast. No, like I genuinely. So yeah, that day when I was at End of an Ear, I basically just like beelined for their punk 7-inches section, and bought a few things. And as I was looking through, as soon as I saw the Fuckface 7-inch, I texted it to Nina, and then got the biggest belly laugh when several hours later I got a picture of Nina holding a different 7-inch by the same band. I was so tickled. Like, it's like, now this is true cosmic
That's
friendship.
2026 for you.
That's it. That's
You're
it.
a fuckface.
That's it. Fuckface.
It also, this week, I also had I was coming home on the train and I just really, really had like the strongest craving for Jet's Pizza, which,
Oh my God.
another thing, sorry to everyone who doesn't live in the Midwest, although I do think they've expanded a bit, but Jet's is Detroit style pizza. It's a chain, but it's so good.
Dude,
it's so good.
Jets was always my favorite Detroit style pizza when I was living in Michigan. Like, I would get Jets so often. I was obsessed with Jets pizza.
The first time I had it after moving to Chicago, I feel like it was making my partner and my roommate at the time, they were like cracking up because I just was like, I cannot get over how good this is. And it's so flavorful. And then also it's really funny when you go to order and they ask your like crust preference and seasoning. And I'm like, I want the turbo crust. And you know what? The turbo crust is extraordinary.
The turbo crust is 100%.
It's so good. And I tried a new to me soda, the Dr. Brown's brand of
Dr.
cream
Brown's?
soda.
Okay.
And it was good. It wasn't the best cream soda I've ever had, but I was like, I will try Dr. Brown's root beer on another day.
Well, see, when you said Dr. Brown's, I immediately just assumed it was a different Dr. Pepper knockoff because we're always like circling that
That's
one.
That's true. But no, this was the name of the company, and I got their cream soda.
Well, listen, Dr. Brown. I'm glad that you're like doing your own thing, and it's not just like only Dr. Pepper like knockoffs. But I wonder if Wait, hold on. Let's just Google this. Does Dr. Brown's? I want to say
like
Doc
that you
Brown.
just said Doc at first. We're just,
because
it's Doc. Yeah,
because Doc Brown, of course. Doc Brown's soda. Let's look here. Okay, DrBrownSodas.com. Okay, they have a black cherry flavor. That's gotta be close, right? The-
to Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. So they've
What's
got
the green one?
that's Celeray. That's got to be like Sprite, right?
That's what I thought. But now I'm like, did the band name themselves after this?
That's a really good question.
I feel like they have to. It's cool. It's like a lighter lime green. And
Celery is a celery flavored
celery
soft
seed
drink.
soda. Okay,
That sounds
I'll find this,
amazing.
Evan.
Yeah, we got to try
The
it.
place where I bought the soda caught fire a month or so ago, so unfortunately they're still closed right now.
Damn.
No one was hurt, also, I should say that. But
Okay, good.
look at all. Oh, it does say they're at Meijer, another Midwest place that I have not yet been because I'm too Menards pilled to go to Meijer.
This band has definitely got to be named after the soda, right?
Yeah.
I'm missing Celery in Minneapolis this weekend, unfortunately, but I would love to see that band soon.
Wow.
Everybody
I feel
raves
like
about seeing
coming
them.
across it this way instead of asking them what are you named after. It feels cooler that we're like, we're just strolling the internet soda aisle and come across Celery on our own. They have to be. It's too. I always just thought it was like a random name, but now I'm like, not so random after all. These people are soda connoisseurs.
Oh man,
Yeah,
and look
surprise.
at this! It's a spontaneous drop
Right.
in.
Now that
From Joe.
Ruinous Media owns Punk this week, we can. I mean, I'm basically looking
They're
in your
always
windows.
listening.
I'm always
Yeah.
listening.
Big Brother Ruinous Media.
It's Joe Plummer from Ruinous Media. Hi, Joe.
Hi.
It's so nice. It's so nice to have you breathing down our necks, just like lurking in
Just
every
making sure
corner.
you're doing the work,
This is the new era where like you never know what's gonna happen. Where it's like who from the Ruinous family of podcasts will pop up next.
That's right.
Into an episode of Punk This Week. No. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for
Yes.
liking our podcast enough to have us join Ruinous. We're so excited.
I love your podcast. That's all. That's not all I can say, but it's such a blunt feeling about your podcast. As soon as I think Randy turned me on to it, Randy
Yes.
Randall, and
The great Randy Randall.
I was like, I'm going to check this out, and I immediately got a sort of visceral feeling from some of the music that you play and share with people, but there's just a nice energy to it and a sort of unknown magic to it. That I was listening to the most recent yesterday, and it was I was thinking about this, and it's kind of like I don't know if I'm gonna like this band, but you present everything in such an open way, and you're both such great writers and good on the mic that you set it up to this kind of like, check this band out, they are rad, but if you don't like it, but I don't know, again, I can't really explain it, but y'all got some magic, and I love it.
We're doing our best out
And it
here.
reinvigorates.
It's very sweet. I mean, knowing, we cover a wide-ish range of subgenres under the punk umbrella. And I think, I don't know, I probably say as much in a lot of episodes, but I feel nervous sometimes almost of like, I don't think the majority of listeners will like, whatever record that comes in that week or something, but it's fun to still bring it in anyway and know that there's some people who are going to take the quote-unquote risk and listen to it regardless of whether or not it clicks.
Right.
Yes.
And so it's cool to hear from you that that's part of the fun, to like hear the presentation as it is.
It really
and,
is. I mean,
yeah.
and of course I'm gonna talk about you talking about food, but
Yeah,
Our
which
favorite
is,
part of the podcast.
genuinely the secret reason why we
yeah,
do the
I mean,
podcast.
I've had
It's just
mint rosemary on my mind all day.
Yes. Are you a successful
Yeah.
gardener? when
this
it
is a
comes to
great
that?
question. Do you have mint in your yard?
It's funny that and you corrected yourselves on the sage versus rosemary, and where
That's
I live in
true.
Seattle, rosemary is like a weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I had a friend who lived in Seattle, and they had like a legitimate bush.
It's like a bush.
A giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a giant bush of rosemary. And I remember being so like deeply jealous that it could grow that plentifully.
Also,
But-
what a great smell. You come home,
know.
and
Yeah.
like, before you even walk in your front door, it smells like a candle.
Yeah.
yeah, where like I used to have in my yard in Michigan, I used to have like a lavender, like sort of like a few lavender plants like up the path towards the door, and like I would always, but you have to like lean down really hard to like get the lavender smell on your hands. If you were just at like a bush, you could just like brush up against it, and then you got rosemary smell all up and down your torso. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and then just Nina, you were talking about mint, and this is sort of illustrating the sort of why I like your podcast so much, because you guys can talk about anything. You're good. You're just simply good.
True.
We can. Will people enjoy it? I don't know,
Yes,
but we
they
can
will.
talk about anything, and we often pull that card.
Like anytime, here's a red flag for the podcast is anytime I'm like, all right, sidebar. If I like say the word all right, if I say the words all right, sidebar, we're going into dangerous
Right.
territory. Like who knows where we're gonna head and who knows how we're gonna get back. Is like it's definitely, I like the tangents. I think one time, like early on, I remember somebody on like Blue Sky or something was like, hey, great podcast, you gotta skip like 10 minutes ahead if you want to skip all the snack talk and get right into the records. And I remember at first we were sort of like, oh man, people don't like the snack talk, and as soon as we acknowledged that, people were like, no, never stop the snack talk.
Never
Snack talk is
stop.
excellent.
Yeah.
I was glad someone addressed it. I was very sad when I
Yeah.
read that and was like, felt embarrassed. But then you were right. It's like, we'll just talk about whatever. And people who don't, as with any podcast or whatever you're turning to, sometimes you're going to skip ahead because you don't want to hear the intros or whatever's going on anyway. And like other people, love to go along for that ride. It's really nice to hear from people who listen to us on like long car rides and stuff. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was very flattered by whoever said they listened to us while delivering pizzas.
Ooh.
Oh man, yeah, 100%. That was like, that's the highest honor, is like, oh man, we're soundtracking somebody's like genuine like 9 to 5. Like this
Yeah.
is like this is
Yeah.
this, we're part of their daily journey. That's fantastic.
But speaking of snack talk, I do have to ask you, Joe. So earlier in this episode, before you infiltrated this call,
Yeah.
Before you infiltrated our lives.
yeah. Although I know you are always watching,
Yes.
are you always listening? And that we are talking about the soda brand Dr. Brown's, and that they have a flavor Evan and I had not heard of prior to today called Celery. But we
know.
know the band Celery, and it's made from celery seed extract. And it's supposed to be reminiscent of a ginger ale. And we both are obviously desperate to now try this soda. But I don't know. It has a quite interesting Wikipedia page, so maybe it's more popular than I realize. Have you had this? Do you know about
I
it?
haven't had it, and let's see, how can I not be pessimistic? I feel like a lot of exotic sodas, if we can use that term,
Yeah.
these
yeah,
days
yes.
just taste like stupid sugar.
It's true.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
hear
they
that.
have great
I mean,
labels.
This one at least is like old time.
Yeah.
Like it's at least like celery. I think is from.
Oh,
at
it's
least
really old. It's
19th
from-
century.
It's it came out in 1869. It's old.
I want it to be
which
kind
is
of gross,
crazy.
You don't
Yeah.
want it to just
Yeah,
taste
exactly
like
right.
It's
sugar.
also the thing that made me hesitate of like, oh, maybe everyone's just known about this forever, is that it's got a whole in popular culture section on its Wikipedia page where it's been like not only just like in the background of shots, but like a plot point or dialogue mention in the movie Tootsie. It's in a Seinfeld episode. It's in, I don't know, so many things here. It's in the Thomas Pynchon book Bleeding Edge.
Whoa.
It's like crossing.
Thomas Pynchon's repping celery.
No.
shows you what kind of podcast this
That's
is that we
right.
didn't know about it before. And we're not. This isn't a books podcast.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, Nina. Do you feel like we're a books podcast? Because we're not talking about books that much.
We're
I'll
not
be
talking
real.
about books. I am reading often. I was reading right before we did this episode.
I've been reading all weekend. We just don't
I don't
bring
know.
it
Maybe
up.
we need to talk about books more often.
Hey, I have a
Yeah,
book
we'll-
recommendation real quick.
Please
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Harpo Marx autobiography.
Oh yeah, I read that
Oh, you
in
did?
high school
Oh.
and loved it.
So
oh
good.
my god.
Is that
Yeah.
just what it's called, or is it?
It might be like,
As I imagine, he probably
is
has
his
several.
it
memoir
might be
called?
I'm
Yeah, let's see.
Harpo or something like that.
Yeah, Harpo Speaks.
Yeah.
That's what it's called,
Oh, that's great.
which is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like that's 100% what you call it. No, my brother bought it, and I remember reading it not long after he did, and just being like, "Wow, this is amazing! Like this is so good."
I think you guys could talk about books. If you can talk about anything, but
We could.
yeah,
We could.
but you really are
I
doing
feel like
something.
there's nothing funnier than talking about a book and just failing to come up with the words to
I
talk
couldn't.
about a book.
I can
when it's
barely
all nice
remember a title as illustrated.
You're in good company.
Have you
with
read
us,
this book?
Robert.
It's so good. What's it called? I don't know. Who wrote it? Don't know. But there's this
Don't
scene
remember.
I was reading. Yeah. But you are serving something that is deeply important to me, which is punk music, and may have reinvigorated it in a different way. Because I'd say 80% of all the music I hear on Punk This Week, I check it out.
It's genuinely like it's the nicest thing in the world.
And it's often new.
Like
it's always new, right? Is it ever
Yeah.
a reissue?
It's never a reissue. It's always like the oldest that it gets is like, this came out 2 weeks ago, but I just discovered
Right,
it, or something like
Or
that.
it's like was recorded a long time ago, but it didn't get a proper release. So
Yes.
not really
Yeah.
reissue. Sometimes it's like, a band that existed in the 80s or
Right.
90s, but it's a bunch of demos
Thank
or something.
God.
That's right.
Who
Remember you did that one.
Yeah, from Ohio.
Yeah, you brought that
So
like
good.
it was like a GBV side project, and it was like unearthed. It was like a GBV member's like teenage band or something. It
Yeah.
was like something really specific, but it was great.
It's so cool. I mean, that's also the really the best thing, apart from people just listening at all, is going and listening to the bands and checking out the full records, because we only get to play such short clips on the podcast.
Right.
And so many, if not all of the records that we're bringing are extraordinary.
They
and
are.
it's like the whole album or EP, and it's so fun to put them on. And also the plus side of punk music is that more often than not, they are very short.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm honestly like, it's just such a, like, to me it's really cool that people who listen to the podcast, like, who've gotten in touch with me, are normally coming from like a very specific angle of punk rock, like, because punk is obviously, like, we talk about it all the time, it's like such a broad term, but like hearing people who are like, I'm not really into hardcore, but I really loved this weird like synth punk record that you guys talked about, or I really
Right.
loved this like emo record that Nina brought, or whatever. It's
Right.
like it's really nice to like feel like people are somehow enjoying the podcast, given how scattershot the subject matter is. So so the fact that you listened, Joe, and you were like, I see potential in this. I see there's a future here, and you weren't like, why are they talking about Muppets so
No.
much?
No.
I haven't heard one punk song, and it's been 35 minutes, and they're still talking about Muppets. That it's deeply flattering.
Yeah.
that you've asked us to come aboard the good ship Ruinous.
We are very, very psyched to have you. And one thing about it, again, I look into most of the bands that you guys bring to light, and I've noticed something. This is kind of a sidebar. Can I use your word?
Oh, please.
Yes.
It seems
please
like
do.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's
I don't
everybody's
know
word.
if it's a nurture or nature thing, but there seems to be so many great Australian bands.
Oh yeah.
I don't know
that's
if
an
my
Evan thing.
ears are only surprised by that, but it just seems like
No,
every I know this is not true, but it seems like every few episodes I'm like, oh, another fantastic
For sure.
Australian band. What are those kids doing?
I mean, Australia definitely has an incredible punk scene, and they have for a while now.
Yeah. Many
But I feel like
incredible
if
punk
there's,
scenes.
If there's one person I can trust to not just like be listening to it, because every country has people making punk music, but to like really have their finger on the pulse and know not just which bands to follow, but certain labels and blah blah blah. It is Evan. My entire life, even before I like met Evan, working with him at Pitchfork, and just as a fan reading the website and following his reviews and just talking about music online, I was like, oh, this guy, this guy really knows his stuff. And this guy, like, I felt like every other week you're like, so here's another band from Australia.
Oh man, I'm
And
such
they're all good.
They are
I'm
so
such a
good.
sucker for Australian punk bands, like, for real. And it's
How
like,
about Civic?
I
Have you
feel
guys
like
seen Civic? Listen to Civic?
yeah,
You probably have.
I've never seen Civic. I
haven't seen
really,
them either.
really like the Civic
I saw them
records a
a
lot.
year ago. They were on my podcast, and I went and saw them in Seattle, and it was so good.
Amazing
Yeah.
band. Amazing band. Like, that was one. Every now and then I'll have like a friend who I've never been to Australia. I'll have a friend who's like a critic go to Australia and be like, oh yeah, I went to this show and here are the 4 bands that played. And I remember one that was like Alien Nose Job and Civic and Parsnip,
my
and there was
God.
another band. And I was just like, all of these bands are so amazing, and I'm so mad at you that you got to see all of
Yeah.
these bands. But
Maybe
yeah,
maybe this is our first ad goal, is to get like an Australian tourism board.
That's right.
Really
Yeah,
don't.
absolutely.
They're marketing a lot of things, and they don't know they should really be marketing.
I thought that you were gonna say that we should get an Australian snack company on board,
well, you should.
and that does.
too.
Now, I will say, now, are you all familiar with Gobbleduck?
No, I'm not.
No, that sounds like a Sigur Rós song.
It does sound like a Sigur Rós song. Here, let me share my screen. Gobbleduck is the...
I feel like that is a Sigur Rós song.
Yeah.
The more you say it.
Gobbleduck is the mascot for Smith's Chips, the potato chip company.
Yeah.
This is what he looks like.
God.
He looks like a, what is that? Fraggle Rock? I never watched it.
Yeah, he's kind of
It kinda looks
fraggly.
like
Little bit. Here, let's watch an ad.
Possessions. Gobbleduck arrived from the potato planet. He's learned a very important lesson.
This is
Not all chips are as fresh, are as crisp, are as delicious as...
oh my gosh.
So you couldn't really hear that. So let me explain for that, because this is an audio podcast. Gobbleduck is an alien who is currently, he's got like a telescope and he's looking in somebody's window at them eating Smith's potato chips. And he's got a catchphrase. He says, "Chippies!" And then he runs at top speed to steal the chips. We'll watch this.
I have never, ever heard of this or seen this.
I heard about this from The Best Show with Tom Sharpling, where
Smith's Crisps.
so he's basically a Hamburglar from outer space, but specifically for Smith's chips.
Yeah.
In personality, not at all what he looks like for people not watching this. He's very fuzzy. He's like a tan-colored,
short.
fuzzy animal creature.
He-
They
he's
gave
kinda-
him human-like skin on his face for some reason, but they also brought back the fur to give him a goatee. I don't know why. They
And
Yes.
earrings, I think.
Yeah, and he's kind of got a mohawk. He kind of looks like an Australian version of Alf or something like that to me.
he's
Like,
got a sheepish smile.
What about the
Yeah.
Civic? What is this? Gobbleduck.
Gobbleduck.
What about the Civic Gobbleduck collab?
That seems honestly.
It's fun.
I think it would be really fun. I feel like if Gobbleduck, like, I don't know, starred in one of their music videos or joined them on stage, Gobbleduck maybe should just join Civic.
Yeah.
Maybe
Good point.
maybe get
They should-
Gobbleduck on Vokes.
Gobbleduck is still making chips, yeah?
Well, Smith's chips. Gobbleduck doesn't make chips. He just steals the chips.
That's true. He oversees the plant.
Yeah, exactly. He lurks. But yeah, I mean, honestly, Gobbleduck looms large in my mind. I love Gobbleduck as much as I love Australian punk bands. I think just like a true weirdo in one of the great countries for culture. Yeah. I don't know.
Well-
I'm such a huge fan of Australian punk music, and I bring it to the pod as a caricature of myself very, very,
Okay.
very often. Yes.
Well, Australians and the rest of the world, you guys bring it all. You bring it all to light, and who needs punk music? The world needs punk music more than fucking anything right now.
It's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I think it's bleak times in this episode. I'll get into it in the episode proper, but it's like we both, I think, I brought a lot of hardcore. I'm bringing a lot of hardcore, and Nina, I think you're bringing a lot of like more like upbeat stuff, and I feel like both are in their own way kind of a response to like how bleak things are in the world. So I don't know. I'm just always so grateful to have like this as an outlet every single week, both for conversation and as an excuse to like really engage in new art. So yeah, it's such an honor to be doing it all the time, and genuinely very, very much an honor to have our work recognized at all by by y'all at Ruinous, because like I'm such a fan of what you guys are doing over there, of like so many of the podcasts, and yeah, honestly, like shout out Randy
Yeah.
for introducing us
The
all.
connector.
Yeah.
Oh, the great connector.
Yeah, we're just all so happy. We look forward to 1 bazillion episodes, and I'll be checking on you. So let's keep this weekly.
Absolutely.
No breaks.
No, I mean, listen, you have the keys now. You can pop in whenever you want. Like it's like you're like a bad faith super who like comes in and you're just like, all right, I heard there was some clanging going on in here. What's going on? You're like, oh, Joe, we were just listening to some more punk music. And you're like, yeah, I'm sure that's the case. It's like, I'm gonna go check and see if you've been meddling with the radiator.
I've got some pop punk, hardcore sort of transition ideas that I like to talk to people about on my show, and half the time it doesn't fly. But now hopefully I have a space so I can just jump in and talk with you guys.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Listen, this is the deal that we made. This is the Faustian bargain that we made with you, Joe.
Yes.
We're happy to see it through to the end.
All right. Well,
And-
onwards and upwards, in the words of Dick from the Subhumans. I forget his last name.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Culture Shock. Sorry, it's not a Subhumans record. But
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Onwards and upwards by Culture
Yeah.
Shock. I remember we discussed this, in a previous conversation, not one that was lost to time that
No.
we had to redo.
yeah, no.
Absolutely
No,
not.
Riverside works perfectly.
This is spontaneous and fresh.
Yes.
but
And you
yeah.
can tell there are many fresh parts of this conversation, which goes to show the unpredictability of this podcast.
Yeah, it goes to show how deeply unprepared I always am walking into a recording of this podcast. Joe, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Really,
you.
really appreciate
I'll
you.
talk to you a lot more. A
Yes.
lot more
Forward to it.
frequently.
Absolutely.
Maybe every day.
And then
Nina, I don't have your phone number yet. I text a lot with instructions. And
I'm
Yeah.
sure I will be looped in, or the overseeing will continue. I honestly feel like it would be so funny if you just popped into our recording of these episodes every week.
it really, really would.
I'm-
I welcome it.
Each time Evan brings in an Australian band.
yes.
So therefore weekly.
Great.
Yeah, your spider sense will tingle as soon
That's
as I
right.
mention.
Now that I'm
You'll get a
caught.
Rye,
taste of
Australia.
Vegemite on the tongue. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So, hey, something's happening. Yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Jeff.
And
Thank you,
take
Joe.
care. Good luck with this episode. And it'll be on Ruinous this week.
Yeah. Right now.
Right now. It's on Ruinous right now, in fact.
It's happened.
It's on Ruinous now. All right. Take care, you guys.
Take care. Oh wow, that was so awesome that Joe just popped by like that. Oh man, so like that. This is fantastic. I love this new age that we live in, where Joe can just stop by anytime,
Nah.
right, Nina?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God. Listen, Punk This Week, it's a podcast where we talk about popcorn tofu and celery, but also we talk about new punk records that came out from the previous week. And yeah, it's really been, I don't know, like honestly, like this past week for me was the week where a bunch of records that I'm crazy excited about in the future just got announced. And then like a few really stellar full lengths came out in addition to that. But like, I don't know, between like the Maud Lang record, the Institute record, there were a handful that got announced. I think the big one for me is the Station Model Violence record that got announced. Like honestly, I got deeply emotional listening to the one song that got released from that album. So there were a few where I was just like, oh man, punk is gonna be so awesome in 2026. So it was nice to engage with new punk records this week for sure. But I guess I'll go ahead and start first because I will say up front, all three of my picks are really intense. Like I picked only hardcore records this week. I think maybe because I've been angry. I think watching the news, I've just been so mad like all
Yes.
week, and sometimes that's just where you live. Is like I want to listen to music that really revs me up. So imagine my delight when I found the self-titled album by the Charlotte, North Carolina hardcore band Fucking Warheads. That's fucking with an apostrophe and then Warheads, all caps. And this band is just honestly, like, I almost don't want to talk about it that much. It's so intense. It is, if you like really kind of lo-fi, ramshackle, you know, it's literally like in the first of all, okay, I gotta say what their punk names are. The names of the band as listed on the Bandcamp are Jack Bastard, Ridley Ukita, Jackie Disgusting, and Fast Levi. I want to say Jackie Disgusting and Jack Bastard are really, really good punk names. Fast Levi is an amazing. That's like
I
there's
feel like
some
Fast Levi is their dog.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a part of me it's like and introducing Fast Levi as himself.
But you know, speaking of dog names, there's this absolute unit that walks around the park.
Oh my god.
And I love him. He's really slow, and he's got like a not sibling in terms of dog breed, but like the owner has 2 dogs, and there's this huge black dog that walks so slowly, and it feels like the weight of the world is on him. He's also carrying it himself in his body. His head is always hanging real low. And then they have this other dog that's kind of like a German Shepherd mix, but it's smaller than a German Shepherd is. And that dog is always off leash and like running like crazy and has its ball and has great recall. And I finally, they were on a walk the other day when I was out walking around. It was really cold, so nobody was outside really. And as I passed them, and they like called their dogs to the side so they wouldn't get in the way, I was like, you know, I always love seeing your dogs out, like, this one's so big, and it like cracks me up whenever I see him. And he was like, oh, do you want to pet him? And then he was like, this is Hercules. And I loved that this huge dog was named Hercules, and he picked his head up as I was rubbing it, and he looked so happy, where I was just like, oh my God, Hercules, I love you. And the other dog, the one that feels very stereotypical dog, really energetic, is named Rex. Where I was like, Hercules and Rex is a good duo name for dogs. But
Hercules and Rex is a great duo name for dogs. I
just had to share that because a real highlight of my week. I felt like meeting a celebrity my own making, just because I love this large, slow dog.
No, like there's some legendary animals in your neighborhood between Jeff and Hercules and Rex. Like that's you've got there's a lot going on.
Coyotes. There's that 3-legged coyote.
Oh whoa,
that was like all mangled. I saw a year or 2 ago.
Damn.
Yeah, nature.
Oh man, nature. I mean, honestly, I was waiting for the big like lumbering dog Hercules to actually be named Fast Levi because like that's
what I'm thinking. Is like I feel like Fast Levi is Rex is like his government name, but his street name is Fast Levi because that dog is sprinting. Like he never has a leash and he has incredible recall and he'll just like be off an entire like block away. Yeah, that's Fast Levi for real.
100%. Well, fucking Warheads. I mean, honestly, like this is music where they literally say for fans of leather jackets is like what they say, what they say on the Bandcamp, and it's like, yeah, for sure. This is like heavy aggro, lo-fi, blown out, nasty hardcore. It is 100% like when they play. It's so blown out. It's so amazing. It is obviously like politically pretty much like where you would expect this band to be, which is like all of their, like they have the first song is called New Age Gestapo, Fearmonger is another one of the names, Warhead, Fight Back, Lobotomy. It's like they have these songs that are very clearly like, you know, just intense and rabid, and it's exactly where I've wanted to live this past few days. So it is no surprise that all of the records that I'm picking this week are really heavy, but this one is probably the most like ramshackle of them all. This is like definitely the most like home recorded of them all, and I love it. It just like it's I don't know. It's like where the other ones feel like, okay, like this is a band in the studio. It's like this almost feels like it was done by like a band of skeletons in leather jackets who were just going crazy and like in a haunted house attraction at a theme park. Like I love it. It's so amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and play Fight Back, the last song on the record. Just like fast, explosive, nasty. I love it. It's like just and the message, fight back. It's like, okay, yeah, that's where I want to live. Let's like 100%. This is the soundtrack to, I don't know, me just sort of news poisoning myself this past week with what's been going on in Minneapolis. So yeah, I'm all in on this record.
Absolutely. It also feels like it is appropriately recorded in that it is so grainy and lo-fi, and like kind of, to me, I feel like that's one of the main sounds of punk, is exactly that.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, if you were to like try to categorize like which kind of Jets pizza crust this would be, I do think this is the turbo crust of hardcore. I think.
That's very turbo crust.
Yeah, I think so.
Now I gotta look at the other types, because I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have
okay.
to come up with the correct crust for a. Oh yeah. Wow, cauliflower crust. That was not an option. when I
No,
went to order.
I'm sure that's got to be for the for the people among us who have celiac, right? That's got to be their gluten-free option.
Well, they also have gluten-free. So yeah, the gluten-free one is made with rice flour, and the cauliflower one is made with cauliflower.
Okay, I don't get it. I don't know what's going on then.
But my pick is not going to sound like that, but I do think they are the hand-tossed round of crust styles offered by our wonderful Jets Pizza. Please sponsor us. The band I want to talk about.
I will sing
would
the
love-
jingle. I will sing the jingle.
I love Jets. Every time I eat it, I take one bite and I open up social media and I'm like, I got to post about how great Jets is. Not because I want anything out of it. It's just one of those things of like, everyone, don't take this for granted. It's like when I talk about Reckless Records being so good, where it's like everyone, you know, they're popular. They're a local, technically, chain in Chicago in that they have multiple spots, but it's so good. Their used prices are incredible.
Yeah,
And their
it's like
turnover is so fast. Sometimes you just gotta be grateful for what you're given. You know, the hits
Yeah.
are the hits.
yeah. Look, don't just because they're in like a strip mall that you think you're better than it. No, you're not. Jets is amazing. You should
Incredible.
100% be eating that pizza.
Okay, the band that gets this hand-tossed crust is Poor Girl, and they are a new band. They're from Phoenix, Arizona. They make kind of like downtrodden emo punk songs with like a little dash of math rock, a little sprinkle on the pizza. But this EP, it's just called Poor Girl EP. It's their first ever release, spans 4 songs. Apparently they recorded the whole thing during 2 weekends last year in the summer, and it's self-released. And it's funny, they kind of feel like, maybe it's just because I was at this show last night, but they feel like a band that would be a good fit on that bill for the earlier part of the day, because it was like a 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. show. And what I like about how Poor Girl approached their songs here is really thanks to their singer, Sam. And she's like not afraid of screaming on these songs. And I don't mean screaming in like a screamo way of getting your throat all torn up. She normally sings on these in a, I don't know, kind of traditional way. But on the opening track, I Know What I Want, she just like repeatedly screams very loosely and kind of without any note in mind is how I would put it. And so what you get is like a kind of pretty song about feeling conflicted and figuring out what you want. And then it's just punctuated by her letting out like a series of kind of ugly screams, like she's yelling into a pillow in her bedroom or something. And it feels accurate. I'm like, if I'm indecisive and trying to figure something out and feeling frustrated, I too would be screaming like that. But that's what she does do, I think takes like a normal stab at yelling vocals on this EP. She's got some really good ones on the song Architecture of a Hornet's Nest, which has this fun, discordant guitar riff. She's also yelling on the song Clovers, which that one takes like a far more math rock approach to the guitars with like finger tapping and stuff. And even though Poor Girl are a 5-piece that has 2 guitarists and 1 bassist, their music never sounded too noisy or like anyone stepping on the other's foot, even though it's getting louder at parts. I don't know. It was interesting to me listening to this one, and I was really charmed by it, where like the main mood coming through the EP to my ears is one of like older emo bands that come from a punk background, but they're like in college and now they want to try their hand at more like emo pop songwriting. And like there's like a member or two who are writing parts on their instruments to really challenge themselves and like write a little bit harder than what they're used to. And it really sounded like 2000s emo punk to me in that way. And, maybe it's because I'm coming off that show, but it sounded like it could be at home between Pogo and Ethel Meserve in terms of sound, which is really nice to hear. Of like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like when emo bands make a record or come out with their sound, they're either trying to be really nostalgic and distinct in their sound, or they are trying to be like really polished and wait to release something until it's like kind of overly complicated. I feel like that's the vibe of modern day emo. And then there's the ones who are just pop punk. And I liked what Poor Girl were doing. I don't even know if they would consider themselves emo, but I do. And that's why I keep talking about it that way. But I don't know. I really like this, and it made me curious to see what they do next. And also nice to see someone like doing stuff in Phoenix on this, what is it? I think this year's like the 25th anniversary of Bleed American. And I feel like they're carrying on that Arizona culture that Jimmy Eat World set out. So, what song? Let's listen to Architecture of a Hornet's Nest, because I think that kind of splits the difference between the emo punk and math rock inclinations go in this band. So here's Poor Girl. Yeah, I love the different ideas they have going on here and how it comes across, and that they're just like going for it, even if it seems like, kind of what you were just playing before, not fully polished, not fully sitting down with like the production that might enhance this to its best form. But I like hearing that like all the pieces are there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, too, just like how much they go for it, like vocally, like I do love that everything feels like a little piece together. I think it comes together perfectly. Like this song is like perfectly crafted. I love the vocals on this. Like this is like such a satisfying, like catchy, but also like desperate and urgent song. Like this is really, really, really sick. I had not listened to this band yet, but yeah, I'm deeply, deeply into this.
Yeah. I was glad to come across this one. And like, I don't know, one of my favorite things on this podcast is when we find debut records by bands, and often self-released, and just kind of hear where they're at and see their vision. And more often than not, it's like, yeah, the view is great from here. I love getting to share.
Yeah, 100%. And this isn't a debut. This is definitely one by a band that's been doing it for a little bit now, for a few records now, at least. Maybe since, it looks like their first one was, their demos collection was 2022. And it's Rifle, who are built out of London. I read an interview with them in Kerrang where they were talking a little bit about kind of where they come from, and obviously like as an American who isn't like super woven into British culture or like what's sort of like class politics between different like areas or whatever. There's this whole thing that they talk about that I think they say kind of bleeds into this album. So it's Rifle. The album is self-titled. It's on the label Year 001. No, it's Year 0001. Sorry. there are 3 zeros. And that label's put out a ton of really good stuff over, the past couple of years. Just like I think like often there's like a lot of good stuff there. But I was reading this interview with Rifle and Kerrang, and there's all this political stuff. Like there's a track called No King. If you go to the Bandcamp right now, it's the only one where you can really read all the lyrics. And it's representative like of the whole record from what you can hear of like what is being screamed and what's kind of being put forward. There is a lot that's like about, you would think No King or whatever, like you'd think that it's about like, I don't know, like right now in our country, the No Kings protest that's the one thing that kind of comes up to mind about No King is like, okay, like blah, blah, blah. But I think a lot of this record is specifically about class and about how this band hails from Essex, have Essex accents, things like there's like a real sense of like place with this band of like where they're located And, I think I've even heard just from like other popular culture things like, oh, Essex kind of has this, like almost like notoriety within England of like what an Essex accent or like a person from Essex, like what they might be putting across or like whatever. So you have like, like they were talking in this interview about how they are kind of like talked down to by, maybe the middle class as lower class, or they're sort of pandered to by these like right-wing bad actor politicians, like, whatever, Nigel Farage or whoever. And so like their rage comes from like this very specific mode of operation. Now, as for the music itself, this is heavy music that sounds like it would be covered by Kerrang. And I say that like, I don't mean that as like a negative, even though like, if you look at, I was literally looking at all of like what have the number one records by Kerrang, like, listed by Kerrang been over the past few years. And it's been, big records. It's been records by Turnstile and Foo Fighters and like all of these bands that like get
I would
radio
guess Knocked
play.
Loose.
Knocked Loose was 100% the number one record in 2024. Yeah. It's like
Maybe Deftones last year or 2 years ago when their album came out.
I don't
I
think
don't know. I'm trying to get, or maybe it was Turnstile again.
it was
I'm trying to
Turnstile
get
again.
into their
Maybe.
brain.
Yeah, it's like that. Like right? It's like there's a certain era where like Mastodon was like the only band, or Queens of the Stone Age or whatever. Like, and so in a way, like, this feels like the punk record that absolutely would cross over with that. And I think that's really noteworthy because their producer on this record is Jonah Falco from Fucked Up, who has produced, The Chisel and Chubby and the Gang and High Viz and all of these bands. And kind of like, I think that a lot of time Jonah's role for bands, like as a, producer, co-writer, collaborator, is to really sweeten up the sound and to really give this like kind of pop, forward anthemic sensibility to otherwise really heavy songs. And here I almost feel like they take this underground punk sound and level it up to like big rock sound, like big rock room sound, big Kerrang #1 album of the year sound. And it's like, it's funny. Maybe I'm just being influenced by the fact that they were interviewed by Kerrang and like had their record reviewed positively by Kerrang. But it's like, when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, this is 100% a band that is like aiming for the rafters, aiming for the back of the arena, like, and doing a really good job at it while maintaining this really kind of like rough edge, that like this kind of grit that you really understand from like underground punk records, from like oi records, from really sort of like churning, pummeling hard punk records. I really, really enjoyed this record and feel like it's cool to have something that is like pushing for that big space, have it like sound this good, have the songs be written in a way that's like, I don't know, the hooks are great. I like the vocal performance, I think is really like, I don't know, like I think this guy's voice is really powerful. The vocalist's name is Max Williams. I think he's got like a really excellent presence that doesn't remind me of a ton of other guys. Like, it's like there's definitely this quality to his voice that I really enjoy. And yeah, it's like, this is probably like, it's one of these records where it's like, it sounds so good that if they got really big after this, it would make a lot of sense to me. So I want to go ahead and play a song from this record. I am going to play Soldier Doll. Yeah, I mean, in some ways that sounds like I think when I say like big tent rock music, it's like that sounds like a punk record that like would have been released on a major in like the 80s or something like that to me. Like,
yeah,
it's,
for sure. Part
like
of it maybe being because it's British.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe it's because it's British, but it's also just like everything just sounds so like, while sounding so like, I don't know, there's like obviously a real grit and like a real like nastiness to that vocal. Like everything else sounds so like exactly polished. Like it sounds like it's exactly where it needs to be. Like no piece out of place or whatever. Yeah. And I'm really into it. Like it sounds like I don't know. Like, honestly, everything about this record seems like it's trying to be kind of classic or whatever in that way. Like, even if you look at like the cover is so like clean. There's that crest. It's like everything. It's just a white cover with a black crest and black text, and that's it. It's like it feels very much just like it is a very considered package, and it's impressive to me how like that they pulled that off, because that's like a very specific thing to be doing.
Definitely. Yeah, it's funny. That to me feels like I can picture them playing at a music festival.
Oh
sure.
yeah, absolutely. And it's like it's cool. It's cool like to have the punk rock class system so healthy that there are bands that are like killing it at that level. Like, you know, going there's like a punk rock middle class, and then there's like Lambrini Girls and the Damned. Like, you know, all these bands like that could 100% like play an enormous room at this point, or like the big stage at a festival, and yeah, that rules.
Absolutely. It's funny. My next pick feels like maybe they would play a festival, but in a very different way. And I think I need a hard pivot because it feels so different.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you. So I'm going to talk about this band, Tiny Paw, and their album Uusi Vuosi. They're a 6-piece band from Helsinki in Finland, and the record's out on the Finnish label Soit Se Silit. Looking at the spelling of their name, I think you would pronounce it like I did. It is Teini space Paa with the little umlaut over the A's. So I thought it was pronounced like Tiny Paw, like you're holding a cat's foot or something. But a translation app said it actually sounds more like Tiny Pa, or Pa. What was it again? Hold on, I gotta remind myself. Because the first word, I told myself it rhymes with like pain or obtain. So
Yeah.
Taney. And then the second word, it's like the A ends with an H, like you're doing a Boston accent of A. So Tiny Pa. I think that's it.
Tiny.
Oh wait, Taney Pa.
Tiny Pa.
Taney Pa.
Tiny Pa.
Yeah, I think Taney Pa. Okay,
All right.
Taney Pa. Now that we've established this, it would be very funny to just also be wrong as I use it this way throughout. But Taney Pa describe themselves as punks making pop music. I think that's very evident when you're giving it a listen. Personally, I was unfamiliar with them prior to this record, but they've been making music for a while, like quite a while, because their 2-song demo came out in 2018. Their first EP was the next year, 2019. Their first proper album came out in 2022, and this new one, Uusi Vuosi, seems to be their third full-length album, which tracks for being a band for like 8 years now. But this one mostly plays like, I don't know, twee, power pop, like some breezy songwriting, but it opens with a surprisingly slow song, which honestly I kind of clock as like a power move, because I think most people start with a bang, whether it's very aggressive and loud or putting a really catchy song up front. But they kind of opt for a mellow segue into their music, which I think fits for this album. Not that the album is slow or anything, but to like kind of resettle your heartbeat and where it's going to start from. And from then on moving forward, it's followed by this like total banger of a single that I love. A name that would also be impossible for me to pronounce correctly on the first try, but I am going to try. It's called Oisen Halunet Kertu Sita Sul. That seemed okay. I don't know if it was right, I mean, but I didn't feel fully off.
Let me be honest. I'm amazed you attempted it. I would not even.
I don't know why. This one feels a bit easier for my brain than some other stuff. All that finish. But yeah, that one has like a really great drive underneath it thanks to the rhythm section. And the same is true for the song right after it, the third track, whose name I will not attempt. But what really lightens it to feel more like that pop songwriting, apart from the songwriting itself, of course, is that it has these driving rhythms that Tiny Pa often resort to dual vocals. Oh my god, I won't be able to pronounce anything. Dual vocals between a male and a female vocalist. So that adds a lot of texture, and I think, I don't know, even when you have those faster bits going beneath them, that kind of softens it and does some things that changes it up. Plus, there's also like other instruments in the mix on this album that I think add to that comforting, softer pop tenor. Like there's cello and violin, there's a bit of piano. I really loved how these songs feel like you are touching different textiles at a fabric store. Very much felt and a quilt and like those really fuzzy blankets that you see your hand touching it, but it doesn't feel like you're touching anything yet because it's so soft. That's kind of what this album was like for me. And Teeny Paw have a few of those crashing moments as a band where they allow themselves to get big and loud. Including, funnily enough, there's a slow song on here. Where is it? There, called Valsy Number 1, which is definitely a slow song, but they still have some like explosive buildups over the course of its runtime, which I think still shows where they have that punk background. But there also are a handful of like, I think, pretty straightforward pop punk songs in the mix too. There's one called Medusa. There's one called Enkelten Kaupungisa. That both of those are really fun. It made me want to sing along, even though obviously I have no clue what I'm saying and how to pronounce the words they're using. But those two really pack that classic pop punk edge, and where it cuts right to the hook and just shows off how sharp it is over and over, which I think is another way of saying that this album is just really fun. And similarly to how Evan was really stewing in anger this week, I think I was really feeling that way, especially the kind of like week before that. Just, yeah, it's really hard not to become consumed by hate and anger. And I feel like records like this are really helpful for me to like lighten up and like use my full lungs and breathe again and allow my body and brain like a bit of stress relief, because it is, even though it is of course very justified and it's, you know, fuck ice all day, it's also good to make sure that you're not like deteriorating your body and brain as you go through that. Or that's something for me I really have to focus on. And so this album was really helpful for me for that. And even if you aren't feeling that way because of politics or the news, it's also very great when you're looking for like a really warm, comforting, you know, soft fabric during these really frigid, cold winter days in January, such as those 45-degree days in Austin, Texas. You know, that's cold for you there, and
God.
maybe you need this blast of warmth too. I'm sure these people do because they live in Finland. But what kind of blows my mind more as I think about this album, and I'm talking about it with you, Evan, is that it's really light and dainty, which is kind of incredible because 4 of the 6 members of this band are playing guitar. And like, it never feels like people are doing the little jab thing of like guitars intersplicing or people doubling up or even tripling up on playing the same chords or anything. I don't know if they're taking turns or what, but it really is very light and does not feel like there are 6 people here, which kind of blows my mind. I think when a band is adding small parts without fighting for the spotlight or going for this like really weighted depth, I think that is a skill in itself. And it's nice to hear how they play off one another. But yeah, I think I would love to play that second song on the album. So one more time, here is my mispronunciation of Oisen Halunet Kertu Silta Sul by the band Teeny Paw.
Mulla on sua kauhea ikävä, ja oisin halunnut kertoa siitä sulle. Sä kuulostat kylmältä, kun sanot, ettei me olla yhdessä. Sanot asioita, jotka on totta, mut mulle ne kuulostaa valheilta.
Yeah, I really love this one. It's a fun record to listen through. The songs do kind of change up a bit here or there, but when they hit this groove, like on that song of a faster rhythm section, and the vocals, I think, are softening it, it's really satisfying.
Oh, 100%. It's also fun, like when you said the thing about like, oh, they've got this many members playing guitar at one time. The time where you can really tell on that song for me is like when there's just a guitar solo where it feels like there might be like 2 or 3 people playing it in unison while somebody else is playing rhythm. And it's like, there's something about that tradition. Like I think in punk, when you have like 3 people on guitar, like 3 guitarists or like 2 drummers or anything like that, it's like, there's a way where it creates like this more like bold or like full sound or something like that to make the intensity sound even more intense. And it's almost like if they didn't have that many members, it almost wouldn't sound as like punk as it does pop.
Yeah.
And I really love like that sort of like bringing in like, I don't know, like a bigger wall or something like that to like make it sound even more like joyous. Like I feel like that's really cool when a pop band is like way too big. And
Yes.
like I don't know, I'm a sucker. I'm here in Texas. I'm a sucker for your polyphonic sprees, for your I'm from Barcelona's. You know, we're like we love too many people in a band.
Yes. And in this case, like you said, it's nice when they are doubling up and kind of still get at the, you know, the Thin Lizzy of it all without having it be.
Yes.
I think so much really has to do with how this album is mixed. The Taney Paw album, of how it's mixed where the vocals are pushed to the front, like with pop, and the melody is right there for you to catch, but it is softer. Almost like, not Belle and Sebastian. Who's the other band from there that's like older now, indie pop?
Los Campesinos.
No. But a good comparison. Teenage Fan Club. Oh my god.
Teenage Fan Club, yes. No, there we go. We both blanked on like for maybe the best of the Scottish
Yes,
bands.
Teenage Fan Club. Okay. I was just like, no, they're older than that. 80s. Okay, we did it. Teenage Fan Club. I'm so happy that we
crushed it. Yeah, shout out Teenage Fan Club. We love your music.
Not as many members as these other bands we are talking about, comically enough. But I think in terms of how this band sounds, they're in that kind of world. They actually are really in that world of like Belle and Sebastian, Teenage Fan Club, Los Campesinos. Yeah, they belong there.
Yeah. To pivot back to my
pivot-
my I feel like you brought all like kind of like more fun stuff and I brought more heavy stuff, and that's
It's
sort
good.
of
This
our,
is a choose your own adventure, and there's no wrong choice.
There's literally never a wrong choice on punk this week, and this week my main pick is the new record it's a 7-inch by the band Gylt, Gylt, from Los Angeles, California, and it's called In 1000 Agonies I Exist. So this is I guess like the latest 7-inch from them, but like they've been releasing music since 2024. I first became familiar with this band when they released an EP, I guess, was this last year? No, it was 2024. They released an EP called I Will Commit a Holy Crime that came out on Popular Affliction Records, which one of my favorite tape labels in the country right now, out of the West Coast for sure. Like I really like Pop Affliction. But yeah, like this is like their latest record, and to me it's like this, and this one is on Get Better Records. Great label, fantastic label overall. So it's been really cool to see this band like kind of gradually get a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger. And kind of it seems appropriate that now their latest is on Get Better, where I think like Get Better has found this really cool pocket, kind of like adjacent to me to like Convulse Records, where it's like a really like big sounding punk records that remain somewhat underground. I feel like where it's
and
like,
you know what you're getting to,
like
like Convulse. I feel like I don't know. They just have such a distinct sound they go for, even though within that sound they still have a range of subgenres. But I feel the same way about Get Better, where I see someone's signed to it or putting out a record on it, and I go in already having a good assumption starting place of what they will sound like. In a good way. It's very nice. Exactly
right. Yeah, and it's like there's almost like I think both labels are really good examples of curation across the board. But Gylt is a crossover thrash band, crossover hardcore thrash band out of Los Angeles, California, that I think has only gotten to be like bigger and bigger and bigger in their sound. Overall, I should have had this pulled up already. But the band is led by I'm gonna pronounce this terribly. Iphigenia, Iphigenia, and Do you know how that's pronounced, Nina?
Of course not, but I love that we tried. Honestly, I don't know if you saw in the headlines this week about Kai Cenat. I think it's Kai Cenat. Another thing I'm not confidently pronouncing, even though he is an immensely popular streamer on Twitch, was sharing clips of himself reading on his live streams because he wants to become a better speaker. And he's like reading, he sets a timer for 20 minutes and reads out loud from a book. And when it's clearly helping him with reading cadence and speaking cadence, but also every time he doesn't know a word, like I think he came across spontaneity and he didn't recognize it with how it's spelled. And so he like looks up the definition, then he reads out loud what the definition is and listens to how to pronounce it and says it several times out loud and then continues reading. And I'm just like, incredible. That's like honestly a pretty vulnerable thing to do, to try to pronounce things and fail repeatedly and try to get your brain to commit it to memory out loud, but especially in front of people on a live stream or even on a podcast called Punk This Week with foreign languages often making an appearance. But for him to do it to like a wide, he's so popular, especially with young boys, where I'm like, this is good. This is how we get the youth to be literate and also learn that this is how you learn what words are and how you figure them out.
Yeah, 100%. Well, this band, Guilt, it's this, like, so their vocalist and lyricist, Iphigenia, is sort of up front and a lot of the time has this voice, like, it's just sort of this, like, kind of, like, growl, this, like, really guttural, intense scream kind of situation. And, the name of the record is In 1,000 Agonies I Exist. So, like, you are talking about the challenge of living in a moment and like living as a human being under any particular set of circumstances. So this felt like a really, again, we were talking about like the different ways that you cope with like a time when literal fascism is just like kind of sweeping through like a place that you love. And, here I feel like that even just those words, having written just those words In 1,000 Agonies I Exist, Iphigenia does sort of conjure like, okay, like so many people just in existing are, having to like float through hardship all the time just by being alive, just by being around. So, so this band Guilt, like I feel like all throughout this record, you can really hear Iphigenia like just really bringing to the table like a lot of strife. And I think that the band is appropriately like, it's a crossover band. So everything is heavy. It's really nimble. It's really catchy. It's really awesome. And then every now and then you really get to realize that they're like human beings from California and not just like a sledgehammer, like a heavy music sledgehammer. And I think that's the most evident on the opening track, Bone Rake, where you can really hear Iphigenia almost code switch from like crossover vocalist to like doing like this Valley Girl affectation thing at one point. I think that's the one that I'm going to go ahead and play. So let's go ahead and listen to Bone Rake. Yeah, massive sounding record. And then just like, I don't know, the drumming is so powerful. Like I was talking so much about the vocals, which are indeed like exceptional. But like when you listen to the drums on this thing, it's so deeply good. Like all the way around, I'm just so blown away by this record. I think the lyrics are really sharp without like going too long or getting too corny within that sort of like In 1,000 Agonies I Exist sort of framework that's built here. I don't know, just overall I am really blown back by this band and just feel like, yeah, like I said, like they just keep getting better.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny, I feel like the progression of records that you brought this week, not in terms of how they all play, but just your order of choosing which ones to do in what order, kind of works from feeling like the underbelly of punk and the like really gritty stuff to then figuring out how to clean it up to present it. And then the Guilt record feels like then figuring out how to loop back around to tap back into that initial grittiness and emotion while still having the clearer delivery and production and elements that you get as you move farther along, which is really fun. I know that these bands aren't related and it's not like we're one being watching it morph, but I do think it shows all these different elements of what can make you gravitate towards that, especially, honestly, as you were talking about being so frustrated and angry and all of these being a really great outlet for that and mirroring how you're feeling. It's fun to hear how sometimes I think with punk, some people say like, oh, a lot of it just sounds the same to me, or even with hardcore, they'll say that. And hearing them back to back, I think it's just, you can hear what a big difference, even if people are approaching it with a similar attitude, how all those things can make it sound so different.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's really impressive, like, first of all, like, I think these bands are all linked now eternally because they were on this episode and they all released records at the same time. But, like, the other thing I'll say is that, like, for me, when you look at, for example, like, the artwork of this record and the, I don't know, the lyrics even, like, there's a line in one of the last songs about, like, kind of like, I think just like driving a sword bleeding out in the snow, like kind of stuff. Like it's very, you know, it's very filmic. It's very like, you know, epic film sort of material. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes that can feel so much like a caricature. And I think what is really impressive to me about this band Guilt is that you're right. Like it manages to exist not only in like the in-between between like really, really rough, gritty underground hardcore and like really cleaned up, like sort of studio, like glossed, like really, like, I don't know, calculated precision hardcore. Mm-hmm. I think that there's also this thing that's happening in there with where you can really get a sense of their personalities kind of in addition to having these sort of like big sweeping, almost like literary visuals like in their lyrics. You also have like, you know, just like real people living in Los Angeles. Like there is this sort of like really cool balance that they're doing all the way through that I really appreciate. Yeah, this is a great one. Like another, you know, again, I just really impressed with this band and think this label is just continues doing really good work.
Yeah, same. And with that, I'm excited to go to my main pick of the week, which is DBR and their album Unbearable. They put out a self-titled album in 2024, but I think this one is even more wiry and playful and just like immediately fun, in my opinion, while still packing so much of that energy and edge. It's out on the Berlin record label Oily and Stinky, which makes me wonder, do you have to pass some type of hygiene test to put out a record on that label?
I mean, I think that you have to be like somebody comes over with with some gauze or something and takes a brush to see how much oil content they get off of you. Yes. And then if it's saturated to at least 60%, you can join the label family.
Yeah, I wonder if they consult a dermatologist or not. It does make me think, like, do they just walk over, lift your arm, and take like a big whiff of your armpits, or do you prove like how dry your bathtub is because you haven't showered in a week? Or are you actually just a really clean person, but you're not afraid to get dirty?
Yeah, that's right. There are some very clean people on the label secretly, but that's a secret that they can't tell the label boss. Mm-hmm. Like
oily and stinky and secret.
Yeah, oily. They're like, no, I'm oily and stinky. They're like, let's come back in for another test. They're like, crap, I got to do it today. I need a couple of days. And they're like, why? It's like, I don't know, no reason. I'm just busy. I'm busy. And it's like, no, they got to get the stink built up.
Exactly.
That's right.
We'll get to the bottom of the answer later after consulting the label. But for now, I am confident that DBR not only deserve to be on this label for all those reasons, but because they sound like they're getting into mud fights and like throwing fistfuls of slop at casual passerbys. But I think it's because they want you to join them in getting rowdy in like a non-violent way. They're not assholes who are just trying to ruin your outfit. It feels like it's a mud pit for the whole family, as they say. That common saying, where, you know, they're making this type of like really jittery, let loose rock guitar solo songs with also a bit of that pent-up post-punk energy that rattles beneath it, and it's really impossible not to give into that and like play and have fun and enjoy yourself. I want a band that's going to give me that 5-hour energy shot without me actually having to take a 5-hour energy shot, because I am afraid of them and I'm not putting that into my body. That's one beverage you will not catch me drinking. I can't even handle coffee. But you get that wiry sound on the songs Pool and Hold Me Tight, and like honestly practically every song over the course of its 10 song track list. This is an album where you hit play and you can really just let yourself dance around in a room and do weird moves, whether you're home alone or not. And when DBR do take a breather, like there's a song on here called Death that's a bit slower and has kind of like an eerie retro feel to it. It feels like you're watching a spooky Pee-wee's Playhouse episode. And when that's the case, they still maintain that energy even though the actual pace is slower. I do think they're at their best when they're cranking the BPM really high and like barreling ahead. There's a song Unacceptable early on. There's also the like doubly fast song called Cars. But when they're doing what I'd maybe best describe as like, I don't know, that mudslinging or like dressing up in those really like gaudy outfits in a photo booth pile and like the big sunglasses and stuff, and just like dancing around to entertain a toddler, but in a very mischievous way, like you're doing a silly accent or something. I feel like that's very much the case on the Closer Routine issues, but it's just really fun. It doesn't feel as silly and goofy. Like I don't think I would call it goofy because that makes me think of certain, I don't know, like egg punk or stuff where people are putting on a silly voice and are really, really abiding by a fast drum machine or something. That's not going on here. It still feels like punk. They're still getting muddy. They're on Oily and Stinky for a reason, after all. But it does feel like a little more lighthearted. I think sometimes stuff in this vein can sound like they don't care if they break your glasses in the process of this. Like, I do think DVR will care. I don't know if they're going to pay for your new subscription lenses, but they are going to apologize, and they're not going to break it in the first place.
Absolutely, yeah. They're well-meaning. Are they? Will they walk away very quickly? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they're looking at their pockets and they're like, "Hey, I don't have enough money in here to help pay for this."
That's that oily and stinky reputation that we come to expect.
But like I said, this album plays really well as a full album. I think it flies by. I do want to start with an earlier song just to show the beginning of the mood because I like how it progresses. And the song I keep coming back to of those early on is, I think it's the second one. It's called Unacceptable. So we'll listen to that for a bit. It's just so fun. I can feel the mud. It's on my skin. They've thrown it. And I'm not even upset about it, even though I really do not like to. I'm a very tidy person, I think.
This rocks. Like, this is like such an unreal rock and roll record to me, where it's like bouncy and fun, and yes, indeed, like muddy and oily and stinky. It's like, it is so, like, I don't know, it's so good. Like, I've been listening to this record, like, this was a classic example of, and this was your main pick, and I was like, okay, I love this record. I am so glad we're going to talk about it. This has all of, like, the aesthetic touchstones, like in terms of like mood and like attitude of egg punk, but none of the actual like
instruments or delivery. Exactly, because it's as I was describing, I was like, I think I just need to shut up and play, where I'm talking about what it does sound like and what it doesn't, because it's very clear when you listen, to me at least, of how it's not that, but I think on paper it almost seems like it comes from that world.
100%. And like, honestly, it genuinely, like, it's very, like, when you look at the credits for this record, it's like shout out T-Rex, and Fuzz Gun, and then the bass by Unacceptable T-Rex. It's like there's T-Rex and Unacceptable T-Rex. I want to know the story there. This band rules. Like, this is so awesome. And yeah, like, this whole tape is so awesome that I genuinely would almost consider paying postage to get a copy shipped over from Berlin. But I genuinely, like, this is one of those, and it's also on Phantom Records, in addition to Oily and Stinky. Phantom, I think, is handling the, like, tape creation or whatever.
Okay. I didn't notice that. I'm glad you mentioned.
But Phantom is also, like, I think both Phantom and Oily and Stinky, it's like Phantom's pedigree is so impressive overall that, yeah, I'm so excited that this record exists. So yeah, great pull, great week. Thank you so much for listening to Punk This Week, episode 68, the first episode under the Ruinous umbrella. While, again, one day we will be, probably maybe reading advertisements, still the best and most direct way to support our podcast is to subscribe to c-saw.fun. We will be putting, in addition to, like, having bonus podcasts there, you can get all of the regular Seesaw stuff, the weekly Punk This Week column, the radio archive. It's $4 a month or $40 a year. And yeah, that's how we most directly make any money from this podcast. But yeah, otherwise, you can check out, there's all kinds of fun stuff over at Seesaw. So go check it out at c-saw.fun. Nina, where can we find you?
I'm an associate staff writer at Pitchfork, so you can find me at pitchfork.com. I also write for many other publications, including Seesaw sometimes. So the easiest way to follow along or see what's up or get more recommendations beyond this podcast is probably just to follow me online on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky. You can also, of course, always email and reach out. Evan and I love to hear from you. We love to hear if you have opinions on these records, if you have bands you think we should be listening to, you want to put them on our radar. If you have thoughts on snacks and food, I love to hear when people are trying the same weird drinks and stuff we are.
Yeah, come hang out with us on the Discord. We will 100% be talking about Celery, no question, and popcorn tofu and everything else. So please come and hang out on the Seesaw Discord, which you can find at c-saw.fun. I want to thank Ruinous Media for welcoming us aboard. I want to thank Baby Tyler Band for our theme song Needs off their self-titled album. I want to thank Waylon Thornton for our bumpers and Tyler Nickel for the podcast artwork. And that's it. I'm Evan.
And I'm Nina.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.